Everybody say hi to Jared.
Hi, Jared.
Hi, Jared.
Oh, his name said orientation.
He looked dead, but awesome.
I had orientation at 8 after like 9 of it.
Oh,
So
God.
I had to have a lab, a lecture, and
That's a lot.
yeah. I never worked because I didn't want to go.
My sister has like
I got my student
All right, so last time we talked about Michelangelo's Moses. Oh, Moses. We learned why he has horns.
Why is that? Because they couldn't read the language right.
misinterpretation.
Thought
That's
that
right.
he was either projecting light or he was horny.
Yeah, it made for some interesting art for quite a long time, we'll just say that. But there he is, and he is quite magnificent.
Hey, can I have a pen? Do you have a pen on your desk that I can
For
use
just a second.
for a second?
A black pen somewhere, so I'll miss a second.
Alright, cool. I'll get back in a little while.
Okay, and now we're going to talk about the creation of Adam. This is the center piece for the Sistine Chapel.
What is that on the
Is that in our packet?
Yeah, Lord, better be.
Is it the creation of Adam or just Adam?
Creation of Adam.
Oh, there it is.
Creation of man. Maybe.
It's on the second page, third row in the middle.
Okay, and in your picture packet's on page 10. Now again, this is the centerpiece for the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And it took 4 years to complete the ceiling, not that one little piece, but the entire ceiling. There's my notes. Well, okay. Okay. So, let me see. The Vatican, this is the Vatican where the Pope lives, the holy spot for all Catholic faith. And this is St. Peter's Basilica that you see, the very large chapel here in the center. And this is St. Yes, hello. Working wonderful. 10 minutes later, it's going to come up. That is the Sistine Chapel. Go? Yes! Alright, that's the Sistine Chapel right there. It looks pretty dull from the outside. You wouldn't think it's full of such magnificent works of art that it is, but it is. So there it is. Ugly building, actually,
So how
from the
many years
outside.
did it take to complete?
4.
Is there a school of
Here it is on this side. You can't see it.
exorcism?
Yes,
At
there
the back
is.
there?
The School of Exorcism.
That's awesome.
To the right here, you actually can't see it on this shot, but we're on the rooftop of St. Peter's Basilica. And see these statues, as I told you, David was going to be high up, as these statues are high up on St. Peter's. David was supposed to be high like that, not on St. Peter's, on a different cathedral. But see, these are fantastic. The apostles there are supposed to be. The Sistine Chapel is over this way, just out of our view of this shot. This is a fantastic plaza area here where people gather. And if you've seen any movies, you've seen this.
Like 2012. Is that in there? They're all in there praying, the Pope's talk, and they die.
Is that what happens in 2012? I don't remember that.
That's the end of the world, right?
Okay. Well, I didn't remember all that, but okay.
Or is that the day after tomorrow?
Is it the day after tomorrow?
I have no idea.
No, that's the water one where it gets cold,
Yeah.
rains.
It's one
Whatever.
of those end of the
One of
world.
those disaster movies. Angels and Demons takes place in the Vatican, and they do go out here in the square. They actually go out all in the square, and then they all over Rome. It's fantastic. I love to just watch that movie because I've been to all the places that they go. So it's like,
Hey, I see.
been there, done that. It's just fun, you know, to watch that. I don't particularly love the movie itself. They've got some great little shots right here, just telling you. Just saying. The Pope is, this is where the Pope is over here, that he comes to his window and talks to the group, to the people, the masses of people is from over here on this side. You see him greet everybody is from right over here. And this will be full of thousands of people. And see, this is the Sistine Chapel now. Look how ugly it looks. Ugly, right? And the ceiling is inside there, right up there. You go up, down some stairs. When you're there and actually visiting, you've gone into the museum, you're going to come into the Sistine Chapel from the papal chambers from the back way. So you'll come in the back door. You don't exit out the front, or you exit out the front. Actually, you don't come in the front. So it's kind of a strange thing. You wouldn't go up these steps and into it, not if you're there visiting. And then now we have a view from someone who is standing closer to the door, the main door, the front door like this, and shooting down towards the north wall. The north wall, that beautiful painting there is called The Last Judgment, that you can see. And then he's trying to give you the whole view of the entire ceiling there. And when you're actually there and you visit, you come in from the north wall. There's a door right down below here on the far right at the bottom, and you'll come in that door and take it all in and exit over here where this guy is taking this picture. Over here is the actual door you would go out and say goodbye. And there's a gazillion people. Okay?
Are you all
Literally
walking like
elbow to
this
elbow.
and running
Yes,
into each
your
other?
neck is going to crack. Okay?
I've had a lot of people run into each other.
Oh yeah, you do. I mean, I've never seen so many people as are inside this, and you are literally elbow to elbow. And there are guards in there. It is, you know, it's a church. They don't like for you to be loud. It's an active church. The Pope lives there, and you know he does go inside this church. This new Pope, I don't know how much he'll use the Sistine, but they did. They always used. This was their church that they every Sunday. This is where the popes would go and have their private services. So I'm not sure this Pope what he'll do, what he'll decide to do. But it's used a lot, the Sistine Chapel. But people love it. They want to see it. And Julius was the Pope who wanted this painted because it was just plain. The ceiling is a little bit of a concave shape, okay? And it was blue with some gold starburst things on it. Just a couple of those starbursty things. That's all it was, okay? And look at it now, for goodness sakes. Now, the only architectural elements that are actually there are these triangular shapes right here. I hope this thing works. Yes, thank you. Those are there. And this area here, as this comes out like this, that's there, okay? Everything else that you see that looks like columns and all this other stuff, that's not there, that's paint. That's Michelangelo. Okay? All the rest of it, paint.
What did they use in their paint? Did they use the same kind of stuff we use now? Surely not.
Well, this is a fresco, and it's a true fresco, so it's painting on wet plaster. So, I want you to think about he gets a mixture of paint with wet plaster. So if he is up on a scaffolding, which in this time period, the typical way that they did scaffolding was they would drill holes in the ceiling and come down, and the ceiling was your support. Thank you. Confirm my words. And he said no, he wouldn't have that. He didn't want that to do. So they went from the bottom up, and you can, I don't know if you understand how tall this is, but you walk through this area here. Can you see that?
A little bit.
There's a little bit of a guard here that actually goes in where when they do have services, they can put pews down if they want to, but normally pews are not there because you can't possibly have pews and 2,000 people in the room at the same time. Okay, so you see how high that this is. It's very, very high. So they had to build scaffolding that he would have to climb up every day, and he's painting like this with wet plaster. So where's the wet plaster going?
On his face.
On his face and in his eyes. And he actually did suffer from blindness at one point during the work on this. Now, he's an artist. He doesn't know it's going to be temporary. I want you to think about how he feels when this happens to him. It's pretty scary, isn't it? That you're blind all of a sudden. But first of all, that you're getting blurry vision, your vision's not correct, and then he goes into blindness. It comes back, his blindness goes back to blurry and then comes back into full. But it's because of the plaster and the paint. All these chemicals are in his eyes, and they're not supposed to be. And he does suffer. It might have happened to him twice. I know it was once. But also the physical pain that he went through. I mean, you can only do this yourself for so long before you start getting a crick in your neck or it's not comfortable. He was doing it, 10 to 12 hours a day and laying on his back and getting in weird positions as he starts to work over towards the sides here. He'd have to get into some strange positions. And this is very, very painful for him. Now, the thing is, he actually wrote a book of poems about this, how it physically pained him, the endurance of his body and what he had to go through to do this. It was like torture for his body and his soul, because he is a Christian and he believes in the Catholic faith, but this was pushing him all the way. His relationship with Julius was, very strained, and everything he was going through, he began to wonder, was it worth all this? Why am I having to go through this, God? Can you imagine the questions? But he wrote a book of poetry about this, and one of the most gifted artists in the world actually narrates his book of poetry. He illustrates it with stickmen. He draws these like these little stickmen, is the best way I can describe it. It's the greatest artist in the world. He's drawing stickmen. But these stickmen are kind of like, it reminds me of, you've seen the evolution of man from ape to man. You've seen that? Okay, it reminds me of that because he shows himself upright and then hunched over and then more hunched over and then just like this physically crumpled up, hunchback by the end, so that he's got this little, here I went from perfect human to now I'm all physically crumpled up, and that's how he said that this did him, unfortunately. That's how he felt about working on this, although he felt also blessed. It was at times extremely trying. Okay, so all down the middle here are major stories from the book of Genesis. From God, let there be light, separating the light from the dark, through the creation of man here. And we'll try to get into that just a little bit more here. Now, there has been restoration of the ceiling. And look what it started out as in some areas, this bad. Look how you can't even tell what that is hardly, right? And this is what it looks like today. Is that not magnificent? Now, there are people who say we shouldn't do this. Don't do that. Don't restore it. Don't clean it. They say, you're an idiot. Because if you can show the world the beautiful colors that Michelangelo actually colored that, painted that, then show me. Because that's the only way I've ever seen it. Of course, I've seen pictures, photographs of the other way.
They're painting over what? I mean, it's not like they're painting something new.
They're not painting over it. They cleaned it.
Yeah.
They didn't paint anything. They just cleaned it. No. They dare not be the artist.
Just old.
No. Well, let's talk about that. What is up on that ceiling?
Dust.
A little bit of dust, but what's the main problem?
Oh, now I can.
Not mold. Smoke. Right. The only way to light anything is candles. And what comes off the candles?
Oh.
That black crap.
Yeah, that black crap. And guess where it ends up? Right there. Right there. So you have hundreds of years of candle soot and that smoke soot right there. A little bit of dust, yeah, but really the main problem is the smoke.
What did they use to clean it?
Well, you can actually look it up, the compound that they had, but I think it had some hydrogen peroxide in it, and there's a listing of things that they mixed together that they wanted to be really, really careful not to remove any of the paint. You know, you have to be careful. Only wanting to remove that first layer of soot and dirt and nothing below it. Okay, so magnificent. I say good job, Vatican. And here are the restorers at work. To give you a little idea how large some of the people are that are on the painting. Here is the guy with the lady with the platter over her head. We'll look at her again in just a minute. She's not even one of the larger figures, but they're up on scaffoldings too, just like Michelangelo.
They're on stuff on scaffold.
Yes. Yes. And they're working. Very
Ooh, I would not want to be one of those people. I'd be too scared.
very diligently working, trying to clean things up. And again, look at the comparison here. Look at this. Look in this area right here. You can barely make out what that is, and now look at this.
The amendment.
Not only do we see what this character is, but look at the gorgeous color that is now revealed to us that we weren't even aware of before. I mean, you could tell that it was kind of a yellow, and talk about gorgeous color, look at this one. It just like, boom, pops off. When now
Well, like
we
you can
see.
tell, because like in that one, it almost looks like there's another person there, and it's actually just the shadow that he was trying to
Mhm.
portray.
Truly magnificent. I'm very happy that they did it. You know, there's always going to be somebody. Now look at the colors. Wow. Unbelievable.
What in the world is that little? Is that like? I don't know. That looks so weird.
It does look strange on it.
Glowing thing.
Fantastic. The characters are all different. The ones that come down in these big V's like this are prophets. And that's what this one is. Almost, I think all the prophets have the large books. You see how large that character is? Look at that. Fantastic. And it makes you're wondering how did Michelangelo himself paint this and get this right? Because you know you're dealing with, I don't know how many square feet that we have. I think I have it written down on one of these slides. 10,000, I think, square feet. But if you don't mark that off just right and you get down to the last 2 feet and you're off, what are you going to do now?
Okay, gotta start over.
You know, you got to get that right, don't you? This has to be planned out perfectly right, doesn't it? It's complicated. This is before restoration, and beautiful. It's beautiful. No, nobody's going to say it's not beautiful. We're all going to say it's gorgeous. We love it. We see the beauty that Michelangelo, that is Michelangelo. We see it, right? But once it's restored,
Yeah, it is kind of weird seeing God in pink.
it is something different.
That looks completely different.
Very much something different. Now, I will say this. This to me symbolizes everything the Renaissance tried to be. Just if you took everything else away and you left nothing but this area right here. I know you can't put, I mean, it's not a face. I realize that. It's not a face. And you're thinking, you can't put emotion in just fingers, but yeah, you can. Look at those. Does that not have emotion in it? My God, how do you do that? Michelangelo is like some kind of a wicked genius, isn't he? It's so powerful, that moment when you have the Christian God, and look at that Christian God. Look at Michelangelo's version of the Christian God. This is his. This is how he sees his God. Is that not magnificent? The Christian God flying across the sky, reaching out to this thing that he's just created, Adam. And it's just that second when he's about to give him like his soul, his life force. That's what that moment is. And I want you to look at this face, because there is no more pure, innocent, loving face on the face of the earth than what Michelangelo created here. This is pure love, just innocence, looking across to his Lord, his Creator. No fear, no sin, nothing. Just pure love and trust. That's all that is in that face. That is absolutely perfect. Pure perfection. But I love this. If the Renaissance, if you were to wrap it all up in just one tiny little shiny piece of art, just give me that. It's all right there. And now you understand what I say when I said before that he sculpts, he paints the way he sculpts. You can see that in those hands. This is like his sculpture, isn't it? You see the sculpture work in the paint?
Yeah, it's not really paint, it's like you could almost touch it and feel it.
Yes.
Like if you were to go behind the painting, you're gonna see the rest of it.
Yes. Yes. And that face of just love. Love it. Absolutely love it. To think Michelangelo captured the Christian God. I mean, this is how I think God looks.
I think it's
Strong and powerful
how,
and
yeah,
smart.
but that's how he saw his God in his mind.
Yeah. Let's go to lunch. While you're right there.
Yeah. But like,